The legend of the vanishing hitchhiker is one that has been passed down through generations, a tale that haunts the long stretches of Route 66 in the heartland of America. It was on this historic road where travelers and truckers alike whispered of encounters with a mysterious figure, a young woman always seen thumbing for a ride as the evening sky turned to twilight. The story centers around a truck driver named Jack, who was making his regular haul from Chicago to Los Angeles. Jack was a practical man, not given to flights of fancy, and he knew Route 66 like the back of his hand. But one evening, as he approached the midpoint of his journey, he saw her, a young woman in a white dress, standing by the roadside near the town of Flagstaff, Arizona. Feeling a pang of concern, Jack pulled over. The woman seemed out of place, her eyes reflecting a deep sadness. She spoke softly, her voice barely above the hum of the idling engine. "Could you take me to Santa Monica? I need to get home," she said. Jack agreed, and the woman climbed into the passenger seat. As they drove, she remained quiet, gazing out the window at the passing desert landscape. Jack tried to make conversation, but she only nodded or shook her head in response. Hours passed, and as they neared Santa Monica, Jack turned to ask the woman where she needed to be dropped off. But the seat beside him was empty. The woman had vanished without a trace, leaving behind only a small antique locket on the seat. Perplexed, Jack picked up the locket and examined it. Inside was a black and white photograph of the woman, dated 1945. On the back, an inscription read, "To my darling Lily, forever yours, Ethan." Determined to unravel the mystery, Jack visited the local library in Santa Monica and delved into historical records. He discovered a tragic tale of a young couple, Lily and Ethan, who had been separated when Ethan was called to serve in World War II. Lily had waited for him on Route 66, where they had promised to reunite. But Ethan never returned, lost in the war. The townsfolk told Jack that Lily's spirit still wandered Route 66, searching for Ethan, hoping to fulfill their promise. Moved by the story, Jack placed the locket at the base of an old oak tree by the roadside, a makeshift memorial for the love that had endured through time. But the story doesn't end there. Jack's encounter with the vanishing hitchhiker became an obsession. He couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the story than a simple ghost tale. He began to make regular stops at the old oak tree, leaving flowers and notes for Lily, hoping to communicate with her spirit. Then, one fateful night, as Jack was driving his route, a dense fog rolled in, thicker than he had ever seen. The road ahead was barely visible, and an eerie silence enveloped the truck. Suddenly, the radio crackled to life, and a song from the 1940s began to play, a song that Jack had never heard before, yet it felt hauntingly familiar. As the melody filled the cab, Jack felt a chill run down his spine. He glanced in the rearview mirror and saw her, Lily, sitting in the back seat, her eyes meeting his through the mirror. Her lips moved, whispering words that Jack couldn't hear over the music, and then, as quickly as she appeared, she was gone. Jack slammed on the brakes and jumped out of the truck, his heart racing. He ran to the back, but there was no sign of Lily. The fog had lifted, and the night was silent once again. Shaken, Jack got back into his truck and drove to Santa Monica without stopping. He never saw Lily again, but truckers who drive Route 66 still report sightings of the vanishing hitchhiker. They say that if you listen closely, you can hear the faint strains of a 1940s melody on the wind, and if you're brave enough to stop, you might just catch a glimpse of Lily, forever searching for her lost love on the haunted highway of Route 66.